As you guys know, the Texans are in search of their next head coach. Now, this video was originally going to be my top 5 candidates, like for the Texans head coaching job, but that kind of got ruined earlier today when one of my top 5 candidates, and maybe even 2 of my top 5 candidates, kind of said that they weren't. Well, one of them straight up declined the Texans, interview thingy majiggy, and the other one, it's reported that he is not interested anymore. So that kind of threw a wrench in my video idea. So instead, I decided to come out with this video instead on why Joe Brady should be the Texans' next head coach. But before we get into that, be sure to hit that like button if you haven't done so already, and also be sure to subscribe if for whatever reason you haven't done that already either. So, yeah. Okay, now look, before we get into Joe Brady, I'm going to just drop my, people that were top 5 candidates and the dudes that are still kind of like alive and in the race. I guess we'll talk about them for a bit. But my top 5 candidates were, like in order from 5 to 1. At 5, I had Greg Roman. And I know a lot of Ravens fans hate Greg Roman, but I mean, it's not Greg Roman's fault that, his quarterback can't throw outside the numbers. Deshaun Watson, he can actually throw outside the numbers, so his offense wouldn't be, completely, I guess you could say, limited and handicapped due to his quarterback not being able to make all the possible throws. Because if you think about it, like a lot of Ravens fans criticize Greg Roman, but last year they were all up on his nuts. But this year, he seems to be the problem. But no, the issue is that your quarterback can't make all the throws on the field, and Deshaun Watson could. Now, the Texans haven't requested an interview with Greg Roman, and if that happens, that is yet to be seen. But yeah, it's not looking likely, I guess you could say. Okay, my number 4 guy was Matt Eberflus, defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. He's the guy that straight up declined the Texans interview, and now some people were saying, well, Matt Eberflus isn't gonna interview till after the Colts are, out of the playoffs or whatever, done with the playoffs. But he specifically declined the Texans interview, but not the other interviews. So the other interviews that he has, I think like one with the Jets and like with another team as well, those are still going to happen. But the Texans one, he just flat out declined it. And, it sucks because I think he would have been a good coach. And not only that, you'd really be screwing Indianapolis over because, you'd be getting a good coach for yourself, but also taking away a good coach from them. So, it's like a double win, but, he declined, so that kind of sucks. And my number 3 candidate, who is also reportedly not interested anymore, was Eric Bieniemy. And I know Eric Bieniemy is like one of the fan favorites for a lot of you guys. Well, allegedly, and I don't know if it is 100% true. I mean, it could turn out to be fake, but allegedly, Eric Bieniemy thought that he was a front runner to this Texans job, and he was very interested, and he was down to come down to Houston. But when he wasn't, they didn't request an interview with him, he kind of lost interest, and I'm pretty sure it was more than them not requesting an interview with him. I'm pretty sure this whole Deshaun Watson being mad at Cal McNair in the front office mess is probably one of the bigger reasons why. Like, why in the world would he come down here if there's this whole mess going around? So, I mean, it makes sense. I really can't blame Bieniemy if it's true. I don't know if it's true. That's like the little rumor that's going around right now. And, now for my number 2 guy. Well, I wouldn't really say he's my number 2. The next 2 guys, it was my 1A and 1B. Very high on both. And that is Joe Brady and Brian Daboll. Now, Brian Daboll, I mean, any coach who can make an absolute moron like Josh Allen look decent, I think he deserves a shot. I mean, we played the Bills in the playoffs just last January, a year ago. You guys saw how Josh Allen played. The dude was god awful. Like, the dude went from straight up trash to actually a competent quarterback, extremely inaccurate to accurate. Like, how in the world does that even happen? Like, he did a complete 180. The player he was last year and his rookie year compared to the player he was this year, it's a night and day difference, guys. And Brian Daboll deserves all the credit for that. Now, the reason why, I completely scratched Daboll off my list, and I think I mentioned it in a previous video as well. I think it was a Nick Caserio hiring video. Brian Daboll, he originates from New England. You already have a GM that's from New England, and you wouldn't want a head coach who's also from New England. Like, you'd be right in the same situation that you already were in. I mean, it's unfortunate because I really did like Brian Daboll, but, it is what it is. Now, on to Joe Brady. I know a lot of you guys seem to think that Joe Brady is not good. And to you guys, I mean, Joe Brady is just as qualified as anyone else to be a head coach in the NFL. A lot of the time, you hear the words offensive genius thrown around in the NFL. Well, I'll be honest with you. That's not Joe Brady. Joe Brady is not an offensive genius. You know why? Because he's an offensive innovator. There's a difference. The concepts that this dude comes up with, the stuff that he does, other people copy from him. Joe Brady is not the guy you're getting from the Andy Reid coaching tree. He's not the guy you're getting from the Sean McVay coaching tree. He's not the guy you're getting from the Shanahan coaching tree. No, Joe Brady will have his own coaching tree. That is the difference between Joe Brady and all these other candidates. Yes, he's 31 years old. I get it. J.J. Watt is older than him. I get it. John Weeks is older than him. I get it. But to me, that doesn't matter. Because in 2 or 3 years, guess what? He's going to be older than all these other players on the team. So to me, that's not a big deal. In 2 or 3 years, he's going to have way more experience in the NFL. Why in the world would you choose to miss out on an offensive innovator? A dude that comes up with his own stuff for some other dude. And look, I'm not saying that Brian Daboll or Eric Bieniemy or any of these other guys doesn't deserve a shot. I'm not saying that. But why in the world would you choose to miss out on a guy like this? His potential is through the roof. You want Sean McVay? Well, he's right there. He is right there for the taking. The Texans already interviewed him, and it's been said that Joe Brady wants to meet with Deshaun Watson before he accepts a job. So, I mean, it's right there. To me, the whole experience thing, it's not a big deal. Because in one NFL season as a head coach, he'll get that experience. And look, the difference between being a coordinator in the NFL and being a head coach in the NFL is completely different. How many times in the NFL have we not seen a very good coordinator become a head coach and be completely garbage? Adam Gase. Good coordinator, or was a good coordinator. Some people argue it was because of Peyton Manning, could be, but he was a good coordinator. Head coach, trash. Bill O'Brien, good coordinator. Head coach, not so good. Wade Phillips, good defensive coordinator. Head coach, trash. Romeo Crennel, good defensive coordinator. As a coach, trash. Hugh Jackson, good offensive coordinator. As a coach, trash. So, experience to me is completely irrelevant because once you switch from a coordinator or a linebackers coach to, a bigger position, it's going to be completely different. It's going to be brand new. So this whole, oh, he doesn't have experience is a load of BS, and it's just a lazy excuse. Joe Brady is qualified. Joe Brady is an offensive innovator. Imagine him with Deshaun Watson. I know some of you guys are going to say, Sticky, that Carolina offense was trash. Yeah, I agree. That Carolina offense wasn't so good. But look at who the quarterback was. Teddy Bridgewater. Dude's never been good in his life. The dude has one of the weakest arms in the NFL. Joe Brady was limited to what he could do with, Teddy Bridgewater. Keep in mind, Christian McCaffrey only played like 2 or 3 games. Mike Davis, his replacement, he had 1,000 yards. What's his name? Robbie Anderson, 1,000 yards. Curtis Samuel, 1,000 yards. Like, all these players on his team, on the Panthers, they went off this year. They had great production. Joe Brady brings the best out of his players. Joe Brady is not a guy, like Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien's concept was, or, his whole style was, a dink and dunk offense with the occasional deep shot. And Bill O'Brien relied on his players beating the other players. So, it would be DeAndre Hopkins one-on-one on, a corner, and then D-Hop wins that matchup. So, D-Hop is wide open, or D-Hop gets open. Or, Will Fuller burns a guy, he's open. No, that's not Joe Brady's style. Joe Brady actually schemes people open. You ever be watching a game like, say, I don't know, the Chiefs, and then for whatever reason, you see Sammy Watkins wide open, literally by himself, and you're like, what in the world? How come the Texans can't do that? Well, guess what? If the Texans get Joe Brady, the Texans will be doing that. Joe Brady uses a lot of rub routes, so you know how, when you play the Chiefs again, it's so annoying. Travis Kelce, he'd be knocking people off their routes, and then all of a sudden, receivers wide open because Travis Kelce, picked a guy. Well, the Texans with Joe Brady would be doing that. Joe Brady makes the defense defend every inch of the field, horizontally, and with Deshaun Watson, vertically, because Deshaun Watson can actually push the ball down the field, which is something Teddy Bridgewater couldn't do. So, I don't know why some people seem to think Joe Brady isn't it, but I am telling you, if the Texans get Joe Brady, it is game over for every single defense in the NFL, because him and Deshaun Watson would rule the NFL for years to come. You see all this stuff Patrick Mahomes is doing with Andy Reid. Deshaun Watson and Joe Brady gonna be doing the same thing, if not even more. And not only that, if the Texans hire Joe Brady, it would mean that the Texans aren't going the Patriot way again. The Patriot way would be going to go get Brian Daboll, unfortunately, as much as I like Brian Daboll. It would mean going to go get a dude like Matt Patricia, or, a dude like Josh McDaniels, which, by the way, apparently that's not going to happen. So for all you people that are freaking out that they might get Josh McDaniels, it's already been shot down by multiple sources. So yeah, they're not getting Josh McDaniels. But yeah, if the Texans get Joe Brady, that means the New England Patriots of the South, the Texans are, the Patriots of the South, all that whole thing would be, kind of dead already, because Nick Caserio approving of Joe Brady would mean that he doesn't have the same ideals as, everyone from the New England tree, besides maybe Brian Flores. So that would, be great, because I just cannot do another 5+ years of New England all over again, and I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way. So, hey, I'm telling you guys, hop on the Joe Brady train. Joe Brady is the way to go. Trust me. Now, a lot of you guys, aren't even giving Joe Brady a fair shot. A lot of you guys are just mad that Joe Brady isn't your, candidates, I guess. So, like, people that are Robert Saleh fans are mad that Joe Brady isn't Robert Saleh, and their guy isn't getting the attention that Joe Brady is currently getting, or the Bieniemy guys, or the Mike Wazowski guys, or whatever. So, and I feel like if you're one of those people, that's completely unfair. Like, actually go take a look at Joe Brady, go do your research, and you will realize that Joe Brady is definitely just as qualified as everyone else to be the head coach of the Houston Texans. And hopefully the Texans do make him a head coach, and hopefully Deshaun Watson approves of Joe Brady as well, because at the end of the day, Deshaun is all that matters. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys for today. Be sure to comment down below your opinion on Joe Brady, and yeah, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.